And I'm back. So, for those of you watching that just tuned in and saw a countdown, I had to do it again. I was waiting for a very important call, and I thought, okay, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. As soon as I go live, the call comes through. So, but everything's okay, it's resolved, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. So, anyway, it is a Thursday, and I got a lot of tech stuff to catch up on and go over. Plenty of updates to, that's for sure. Um, and I think I pulled up as many resources as possible. This particular episode, though, is going out to, of course, Rumble. Rumble is where it's the home for live. So that's the place where I go to, and right now I'm doing a test with Rumble Studio as a bridge pass through done properly this time, and I hope that the stream holds, because earlier this week there were some issues when I was doing the Trump mobile video, so some of my subscribers probably saw at least three different notifications. I'm sorry about that. There were some issues, trial and error, it happens. I ended up uploading the stream that didn't properly air, or when I tried to cast it or do it live, as a HD upload after the fact. So one of the things about Rumble is that if you go live, odds are you'll get more viewers. If you do a pre-recorded video and you just post it, unless you have a massive following, people are probably not going to see it, unless they're definitely looking for something. So there's a lot of news that goes through Rumble, and it seems that people really want to tune in live, like it's live television. So I don't see often people coming back for the replays unless it's actually picking up traction, and that's something that's stuck in the news for like that moment in time. So I like doing stuff that's not stuck in a moment in time. This one might be, the topics might be a little bit, but for those of you that are tuning in, thank you so very much. So this is going out to you on Rumble, and through Rumble, I'm going to X, YouTube, of course, my locals community. Shout out to you guys that are tuning in. Remember, this is going to time out like in a few minutes, so I recommend you jump over to Rumble to continue. But I really appreciate you supporting me over on locals. Twitch, D Live, Ganjin World, welcome. You, this is going live to you, and of course, LinkedIn. And I think that's about it. Because Kick, I had to cut the stream off for Kick because I was going live. Just some integration issues there, whether it's Rumble Studio, StreamYard, or any others. StreamYard, you haven't responded yet. I told you that the Kick integration is not working. It's still breaking it up into like 1 minute clips, and it's annoying. So I stopped it altogether for this one. But yeah, so this is going to just about everybody out there. And on the docket, I'm going to be talking about it. You've seen the title. I got to talk about this news that I couldn't address earlier. Rob Braxman himself is going to be talking about this very thing on his live stream. So if you're watching on everywhere else that's not Rumble, his lives are exclusively on Rumble. Okay, so go check out his Rumble. You want to ask him questions. You're going to want to know. This one particularly, he's going to be streaming about this very thing. Is this the end of Graphene OS because of the changes that Google has made to the Android open source project? Is it the end, therefore, also of Calyx OS, Lineage OS? And what then would it mean for companies like Brax Tech? They're just about to launch Brax3 running IODE OS. Is IODE OS also on the chopping block? Will they lose that? So there's a lot of uncertainty in the industry, and I'll cover that news about what that is here in a moment. But before anything else, if you did not know, you have to know now. And this shouldn't be a surprise, honestly. This thing just broke in the news in the past several hours. The 16 billion Apple, Facebook, Google, and other passwords leaked. Act now. So this is from Forbes. If you're not familiar with this, so update. The story originally published on June 8th has been updated with comments from the founders of Keeper Security regarding the 16 billion leaked passwords and other login credentials across major tech vendor landscapes. So let's see what this says. There was a May 23rd report confirming the leak of data totaling an astonishing 184 million compromised credentials, and that was frightening back then. I hope you are sitting down now. Researchers just confirmed that it was also certainly the largest data breach ever, with an almost incredulous 16 billion login credentials, including passwords, exposed. As part of an ongoing investigation that's starting at the beginning of the year, the researchers have postulated that the massive password leak is the work of multiple info stealers. Here's what you need to know and do. Is this the GOAT when it comes to password leaking? I don't think I would call it the GOAT, but okay. Password compromise is no joke, yada, yada, yada. It's why Google is telling billions of users to replace their passwords with much more secure passkeys. It's why the FBI is warning people not to click on links on SMS messages. It's why stolen passwords are up for sale in their millions on the dark web to anyone with the very little amount of cash required to purchase them, and why it's the latest revelation is frankly so darn concerning for everyone. Okay, so if you haven't done so already and you don't do this as regularly, it's come on, it's a no-brainer. Go tackle this right now. A fact of the matter is that this is always going to happen, because it's all online. There's a bunch of data brokers out there that are selling your data, and these companies are selling your data to other companies, and they can actually buy this on the third party market. It's available. That's how they're able to track you. They're able to spam you. You have to opt out a lot of times, saying, hey, don't sell my information and things like that. It's pretty ridiculous how it all works out, but that's the same way it works in the lending space. Like, for example, you're going to go open a credit card, you're going to go open a loan, like get a loan to, like, even if it's a car loan, if you're going to get a mortgage, for example, they sell your information. Later, some of those financial companies will send you a letter saying, hey, for, consumer privacy alert, if you want to opt out of us selling your soul to everyone else, our business partners and whoever we might think we can do business with, then by all means sign this letter and send it back. You ever wondered how you get so much mail when you get a credit card and then you start getting all these other companies just sending you letters? That's why. Same thing happens when you get a car. Same thing happens when you buy a home. It's an annoying part of the trade, but it's all in the fine print that you don't read. That's why whenever I work with my clients, it's it takes time, but I tell them you got to read this, because if you don't understand something, I'll explain it to you. But oftentimes, if I have to, I will go line by line with my clients. It takes a lot of time, but I also don't want to be accused of saying I didn't go over this with them and they signed a dotted line anyway. So I like having an informed clientele. And right now, with a lot of the stuff that's going on, especially this, it becomes a no-brainer. It's like, how did my stuff get leaked? That be why. Oh, it's just, how many times I have to update this stuff? Because I always get some kind of notification there's been some kind of data breach. This is nothing new. It just keeps happening. And I did ask about password managers. And I know there's certain services of these that were hacked that also provide some kind of password management service. And like, well, what about them? Were those things supposedly leaked too? And what is at risk are your login credentials to your overall account, but not the vault where the password managers supposedly hold stuff. But if they got the login credentials to the main thing, and if you don't have two-factor authentication and things like that, or passkeys, then they'll get into everything else. So yeah, just you got to do what you got to do and just go take care of this. You guys won't know how many notifications daily I get from Microsoft from people throughout the world trying to access my accounts. And it's like they keep trying. And I imagine someday someone's going to break through some way, somehow. You can only take as many precautions as possible. But do you have time? Is it too late? Because some of this data breach actually happened some time ago. We're just learning about it now. But when you see that there's just that many billions of things circulating out there, well, it's kind of like the lottery, where they're going to find you specifically. But some of these do try, and you never know. They might leverage AI in a way to see who has more high risk stuff that they can try to hack. So just letting you know about that. Okay, so that was not part of the things to talk about, but this is breaking news that I wanted to cover. So a thing we're going to actually talk about is this. So I'm going to go to Android Authority for this one. And this has been a while since I've shared an article from Android Authority. This is a few days old now, but more people are starting to catch up on it. But the thing is, this isn't the only time we've known about this. There's been a concern about Google doing away with the open source project, because they're basically the ones that own the code. And what will happen now with this concern that they're going to eliminate it altogether? And seriously, Android Authority, do you have to have that many ads? This is so annoying. All right, so let's just get to let's just go through this as quickly as possible here. And for those of you that are tuning in across every single platform that I'm streaming on, thank you so very much. you're taking time off your Thursday to tune into this. And I would be complaining around this time because it's my lunchtime, but I'll tell you in a moment why I'm not concerned about that. But let me go through this. So this is the first thing I'm going to be talking about, and see how many of you guys might actually know about this too. It's been in the works for a while. Google has made it harder to build custom Android ROMs for Pixel phones by omitting their device trees and driver binaries from the latest AOSP release. The company says this is because it's shifting its AOSP reference target from Pixel hardware to a virtual device called Cuttlefish to be more neutral. While Google insists AOSP isn't going away, developers must now reverse engineer changes, making the process for supporting Pixel devices more difficult. So this came as a shock to a lot of people that are learning about it now, but anybody who's been in this space would know this has been a concern for some time. And the fact that it's been going this long, good, because that's the whole promise about an open source project. But now that Google has made this decision to withhold the stuff that supports pixels, that's why when you see all these custom ROMs and you see the majority of them supporting Pixel devices, there's a reason for that, because it's the easiest one to develop for, because Google, that's handling the Android source code, is also providing the details of information for the hardware of their own. And Lineage was a lot more, a lot more involvement. That's was a big old team of developers that had to try to work with as many different devices out there, but they couldn't just do everything, especially when you had to also team up with some companies that develop flash tools to root the device and have your own custom recovery on it, so be able to flash or sideload things like that. So I use Twerp with my HTC device, and that took a little bit because I needed to get a special tool to root a Verizon device, and that worked even though it provided temporary root. As soon as I was able to get Twerp in there, I was just fine. Back then it was a little more complicated with how Verizon locked down the bootloader, but with after all this time, if you didn't have some kind of custom like recovery or access to recovery made available by the hardware manufacturers, it became that much more difficult to be able to root these devices. The same thing with Samsung. If you have a Snapdragon powered Samsung, odds are, sorry, you cannot root your device, and the end of life is whatever Samsung says it is, pretty much, unless you have an Exynos powered one, where there are custom ROMs available for Exynos powered Samsung devices, which is great. I just hate that I have a Snapdragon and I want to give more life to like my Galaxy Note 10, my Galaxy Note 9s, because I still have those, but I can't do much with them. Not since then. So that's all to say that there was always a concern, some way, somehow, that there will be like a built-in obsolescence to our devices. But this makes it that much more difficult because of developers who are not getting paid to do this, by the way. The only thing that makes them money is unless someone's donating or supporting. In some cases, some of these projects are self-financed. So if there's no one to, if there really is no incentive to do this, then why would developers keep doing this? Unless they are just very passionate about privacy and security and owning your data and things like that. It's just it's a tall order, okay? And I don't expect people just out of the goodness of their heart to be able to provide something like this when this takes a lot of time, and the complexities are for developers to have to make their own device trees per specific devices and driver binaries if they're available to try to get them. So there's a lot there, and that's why with Graphene OS, Calyx OS, and I think IoT too, a lot of them were kind of tailored more so to Pixel devices. Take that away, what does that leave you with? Ouch. So that's what I mean. It's like the ground is crumbling underneath of this whole space to be able to use Pixel devices and things like that as custom, as one of the best choices out there for a de-Googled option where you get more premium hardware and the supposedly flagship specs depending on which device you get. Because that's why people have they want to believe in, but also have issues with something like, say, an Unplugged device. And we'll talk about here also with the Trump mobile device and things like that. Let me get to this section. So is AOSP going away? Google says no. Okay. This is who? Google's Vice President and General Manager of Android Platform, Sean Chow, I think I said the name right, refuted these claims, saying he addressed on on X. It says, we're seeing some speculation that AOSP is being discontinued. To be clear, it's not going away. AOSP was built on the foundation of being an open platform for device implementations, SoC vendors, and instruction set architectures. AOSP needs a reference target that is flexible, configurable, and affordable, independent of any particular hardware, including those from Google. For years, developers have been building Cuttlefish, available on GitHub as a reference device for AOSP, and GSI targets from Source. We continue to make those available for testing and development purposes. But that's not enough to calm down the concerns because, well, they've been cutting back on a lot of things. And even, I think I have the pinned post. If I'm able to get it, I'll tell you what Graphene OS was also saying about this, because I think they have a good summary of things. Let me just look at my bookmark post and I'll share that here. And thank you to everybody that's tuning in. I have several things I'm going to be talking about on the stream. Most importantly is this one. Then I'll give you an updates about Brax3 device, because this actually might impact Brax3. And also, what's their names? Unplugged. There was an update for Unplugged as well. But before all that, I'll be talking about the Trump thing, because that is interesting. Okay, I think I have the. Oops, nope, wrong one. All right, here we go. This is the Graphene OS thing, and it's not available as an article. So I got to go through. Oh, yeah, here it is, reader mode. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. This reader mode, a lot cleaner to do when you're on X. So this is what Graphene put up just recently. It says, we're going to be moving forward under the expectations that future Pixel devices may not meet the requirements to run Graphene OS and may not support using another OS. We've been in talks with a couple of OEMs about making devices and what it would cost. So that is key right there, because I know of a couple of companies that tried to work with Graphene OS for this very purpose, because they have the software and they say, hey, we have the hardware, you want to work together? Because then these companies don't have to worry about the research and development that is required to deal with the OS itself, because Graphene OS has already been doing it and it could have done a partnership. Graphene OS in response told them, go pound sand, and then insulted them while they did so. So some of you might know that history. So I don't like that happened. And now Graphene OS finding itself in a position that they have to find a reason to stay alive, or else, because there won't be any Pixel phones to put things on. In April 2025, we received leaked information about Google taking steps to strip down the Android open source project. We were also told the first step would be the removal of device support with the launch of Android 16. We didn't get details or confirmation, so we didn't prepare early. Hey, Graphene OS, when did Noah build the Ark? Before the rain. You don't wait for this. You prepare for survivability. Okay. We spent most of May preparing for the Android 16 release. Due to our extensive preparation work, our initial port to Android 16 has been completed and is being tested in the emulator. We could have published experimental releases yesterday if this was a regular AOSP release. Due to AOSP no longer having device support, we need to build it ourselves. We can start from the Android 15 QPR2 device support, remove the outdated code, and update the configurations. We have toolings to automate generating device support setups, which will need major expansions. Yes, since our port to Android 16 is going to be delayed by a week or more, we're in the process of backporting the Android 16 firmware drivers released on June 10th to the previous releases. This is not something we can do in general, so we still need to port to Android 16 this month. So we still need to port to Android 16 this month. Despite our lead developer, who has done 90% of the ports for several years, being conscripted into an army, we are still able to complete the initial port to Android 16 in under 2 days. But without device support, our extensive preparation in April and especially May paid off. So that's a good thing. But still, you got to prepare for the next steps. So let me skip to this part. Where they address that statement from Sean Chow. I hope I pronounced that right. Google, and so this is what Graphene responds to that, says Google is in the process of likely having the company broken up due to losing an antitrust lawsuit from the US government and being in the process of losing several more. There's a high chance of Google losing control of Android in the next couple of years. So the leaked information we received in April 2025 indicates that the reasoning they're making substantial cuts to Android is primarily cutting costs, perhaps in anticipation of it being split from Google. The court should investigate Google's recent changes and cuts to Android. So they're calling on legal things to be right there. So let me add my commentary to this now, instead of just reading you a bunch of text. Yes, Google lost an antitrust lawsuit, especially when it comes to their ad stuff. They were being told to sell off Chrome. That's a massive deal. First off, Chromium is the open source code. Oops, I just hit the computer. Is the open source code to build a bunch of browsers. So Microsoft Edge is built on Chromium. Brave, Chromium. Mozilla Firefox, as I understand it, also Chromium. I don't know if Samsung's internet browser is also Chromium. I would assume so, but Samsung also has the capacity and capability to build their own apps like they have. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not based on Chromium. But the thing is, there are a lot of browsers that you use today that are all based on the open source of Chromium. Anybody could get the code and build their own. Chrome itself, though, is what Google took from Chromium, built out Chrome, and it's the resource hog that it is today, but it's also the leading browser for a reason, because it's the ultimate experience in Google that you can have now. They even embedded Gemini into it now, so then because they want AI across everything. And when you have that and you're going to lose it, the thing is, it's as integrated, it's as Google as it gets at this point, okay? And when you have Chromebook devices, what then does that mean for Google? This isn't just like, okay, just sell off a piece of your company. You're talking about the core of what really Google's all about in their realization of it as an internet service company, so to speak. Search engine, emails, and all that. And all of it is sourced through there. So it's interesting to see where that will go and what impact it's going to have on Android and in the overall space, because I'm interested in hearing what Braxton's going to say about what the future of their project that hasn't reached the consumer hands yet is gonna be. Talk about a logistics nightmare, from having to build a device to then launching a device where now the OS might be compromised because there might not be something in the future, but you have to build it out yourselves, and then you build it out yourselves, you gotta pay for it. So that you're probably got to charge for the OS at that point. It's not going to be something free. But when you have control of the hardware and the software team to build towards it, that means you should have your own device tree. You don't need to wait for the OEM, this case being Google, to give you something, because you are the OEM. That's a big difference, and why I'm not so concerned about companies like Unplugged. And I think that's all I have to say about this right now. And it's just, well, it's interesting to see how all this will play out. Okay, I want to check something before I move on to the next subject here, because I need to make sure, for those of you on YouTube, that you guys are getting this right. Thank you so much. I see some people there tuning in. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think and if you are contributing to chat, I have a bridge working. Let me just bring myself up. So I have a bridge here over on oh, I'm sorry. Is that it? Thank you, locals. I'm sorry. I didn't say bye to you right before it timed out. It's only 30 minutes stream. I can do the locals. So for those of you that are interested in just unique content that you won't find anywhere else, including shows that I don't do here, including the Segovia shows, episodes that are not safe anywhere but locals, because that's why I call it off the record. Trust me, there are episodes that I just could not do for anywhere else that are only available on locals. So you can definitely go check it out there. I can't even give you the details about what that is because I've been asked not to. So, but you can definitely check them out on locals, because it's a more safe space to be able to do those things. But as soon as I hit a threshold of these many members there, and I'm not paying members, just members in general, I'll be able to stream much longer than that. But until then, I can still do multiple streams. So I appreciate you. For those of you on Rumble, up here or down here is the join the community. For everybody else, there should be links down below in the description where you can jump over to locals. All right, and okay, I'm getting hungry now. I am hungry. And the reason I said I don't have to worry about deciding what's for lunch is because I'm using Cook Unity. Some of you guys might have heard it. And Instagram's been spamming the hell out of that company with me because I use different meal prep companies and I have not been satisfied with certain amount of them. But with Cook Unity, I've been with them for about a month and a half. And now I have a referral code. So it's in the links down below. I think it's in all the affiliate links. So if you're curious and you want some to try out some meal prep companies for yourself, I like these guys. They give you a one of those insulated bags with your meals, so you don't have to worry about opening up all this trash like cardboard, insulated foam, and a bunch of you. Please don't drink this ice packs. So because it's just every week receiving those things, just a bunch of trash. These guys just they put an insulated bag, they put some ice packs in there, and they ship pretty fast on the day that you assign them, and they're not frozen because I think they're sourced locally, which makes it easier if you want to consume right away. Best part is though, their containers are not plastic. So kudos to Cook Unity. I've been with them for about a month and a half now, and I've been satisfied with them, and the family loves it too. So now they're taking my meals, which I'm not so happy about. All right, let's see. I was switching over to, yes, let's talk about this one. Okay, let's go back to the reaction window. Shifting gears now to talk about Trump Mobile. Oh, last thing I'll say about Rob Brax, when he streams, I think at 8 p.m. I'll confirm here in a moment because he announced it, and it's going to be to his locals too. So find out what you have to say about what the future of Brax OS would be, because they're teaming up with IODE. But will IODE be kaput before they're even off the ground? One of the I'll talk about Brax3 in a moment, so I'll save my comments for that. Okay. All right, so this was something very interesting happened with, I'm going to refresh this now. Something very interesting happened with this whole Trump Mobile thing. All right, so I purposely didn't refresh this page since I did my reaction recording. I did, for those of you on Rumble, some of you might have tuned into the live recording session that I did. And man, I try to keep it together, but there were just so many things that were just like red flags flying everywhere. It's like, okay, no, I got to do more research into this. So the final video that I did do is I didn't use any of that recording thing because I needed to find the answers, some of which I did, and my speculation, some of it was already paid off within 24 hours. So I was right. I reached out to the company through their official email that they provided, and also through the socials, including Truth Social. So I reached out to them. I haven't heard back from them yet. I don't expect them to respond just yet because of the big announcement and then just a bunch of media trying to cover them. And look, I get it. Just because the name Trump is on there, that's already a magnet for all negative media coverage. And then you'll have the ones on the right, just not ask the hard questions and just try to prop them up as well. Look, I got nothing against friendly interviews and just talking about it because you're talking about it, but at the same time you're trying to pitch this to a community that might not be as tech savvy, and you're taking advantage of their trust when you're making claims that are not yet possible. So the biggest red flag in all this was that this device would be supposedly made in the USA. But if you listen to the announcement, you will get the impression that they are building the phone in the USA. If you heard what Eric Trump ended up saying on, I think it was with Charlie Kirk, he did a few interviews, all like just in rapid succession. I believe he said that it will eventually be made in the USA, something like to that effect. Meaning, as I speculated, that the Trump mobile device called the T1, and this is the one that they announced on social media, not the gold one that they were promoting everywhere, that this was going to be made in the USA, they said. And let's see, they don't say it here on this one. They're just advertising Trump Mobile. Now let me see where they say it would be. I don't think they even say it here on their social media. Nope, it's not there either. And let's see. Yep, not there either. They don't mention made in the USA here. So let's go to the page. Share this tab instead. All right, so you guys should be seeing what I'm seeing right now, and I have not refreshed this page, so I'm happy that at the very least Trump Mobile addressed some of the concerns that I raised in talking about, like, a very hastily prepared website that had a bunch of typos, like where it says 500 milliamp long life camera. So let's refresh. And now it says the battery and 20. Oh, they even did another update to this. Well, what does this say? It didn't say that before. Proudly made in America. The T1 phone isn't just powerful, it's proudly made here in the USA. We build with care, precision, and top quality materials to deliver a product you can trust. Bloody hell, man, my goodness. This is live. This update to this page wasn't even there just when I checked it earlier. They added the color. They got rid of the so-called like storage, because I criticized that. So that means, hey, that means you guys were paying attention. So Trump Mobile, look, I'm giving you fair coverage, okay? Trump's my guy. I want to see this succeed. I know where this is coming from. I got no issues with the service that you guys are providing. My issues with the phone, okay? The claims that are being made here, as I concluded my previous video, it's, oh my goodness. I didn't even scroll all the way up. Oh, okay. All right. Let me take a sip of water. Okay. Mathematically speaking, this is not possible to have a $499 phone made in the USA, especially when the chips aren't built here. And I don't know when TSMC in Texas is going to have enough, unless that is the pipeline you're tapping into. Unless you have connections that have not been made aware of to be able to make this possible, which I'll totally grant you that. But $499 does not speak paying American labor prices. And it's funny that even NBC, of all places, they were parroting what I was saying. But of course, they did that as trying to take down the phone. I'm raising it as a concern, constructive criticism. It's like, if the first batch of phones are not made in the USA, say so. That's what happened with the Daily Wire. Their first round of Jeremy's razors were not made in the USA. They got a lot of criticism for it, but the economies of scale and the manufacturing just wasn't here to be able to do so. And at least the team was forthright in saying that their next iteration of blades were made in the USA. So you can do that unless, like I said, there's something here that we don't know that you guys are tapping into, then that would be awesome. But you guys are saying, meet the T1, premium performance, proudly American. The T1 isn't just another smartphone, it's a bold step towards wireless independence. Designed with American values in mind, the T1 delivers top-tier performance, slick design, and powerful features, all without the inflated price tag. Okay, so let me ask you, what is the performance? You guys got rid of the RAM stuff. It said 12 gigabytes of RAM. You guys got rid of that line entirely. It's not even here. Yeah, it's not here. You guys got rid of that. So we don't have any idea about the processor. We have some speculation because you labeled it that is 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is a positive sign. But even the Brax3 device, which was pitched at 6 gigabytes, they increased it to 8. Which is about 12. Is this what Android version is this running? Yes, it says Android 15, but we're talking about a Google-powered Android device here. You guys are paying licensing fees to Google to use the Google Play services. That's what it would mean. Or is this the Google device that now might be affected by the death of AOSP? It's like there's so many things that we need to know. This is why I tell you guys are welcome on my show. I said as much on my emails that I sent to you guys, and I copied the email to the messages that I sent via social media. You guys are welcome to come on my show to talk about it, or even if it's in writing because you think I might be doing gotcha stuff. Look, if you guys are really worried about gotcha stuff, I know that there are people there that are friendly with the team over at Unplugged Phone. You guys can go ahead and ask them. I'm sure they'll say some nice things about their experience because we are in touch till this day, okay? I still have a good relationship with them, and I'm sure they can vouch for me. I will give you fair coverage, but if this is another Freedom Phone fiasco, I will call it out because I'm sick of MAGA patriots and all that being taken advantage of by the likes of MAGA influencers. And right here you have the name of Trump that you're using. And this is an affiliate of Trump organization. This is not the Trump organization. So this could, you guys could be smearing the entire Trump organization by what you're doing here. So please, we can talk. And I'm also, for science, interested in trying to get my hands on this device. Because how else would I know? But maybe September, maybe October. I don't know anything about that. So I'm going to do a wait and see, because I'm done with this Kickstarter campaign stuff, okay? I mean, heck, I paid for the Brax3 device, and that's been 7 months in the making. So that's what I mean. There are a lot of things here that just it just takes me back to what the Freedom Phone was, and I was one of the harshest critics towards it. And I am going to reach out once again to Eric Finman because of the relationship that he has now with Parler, and because the people that I've been connected to now at Parler. And I'll say, look, is this whole Freedom Phone was an entire misunderstanding because you were actually sabotaged, as some people have been telling me internally. There's recent information, by the way. If that is the case, well, I would like to address it directly with the man himself, because it's the first I'm hearing about it. And the phone is still up for sale. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys up to date. But let me go to this this article. This is speculation on the part of CNBC. I said NBC. I thought it was NBC. This is the same thing I said, that the Trump $499 smartphone will likely be made in China. Yet the phone is likely produced by the Chinese original device manufacturer, one analyst says. Yeah, I'm one of those analysts, okay? So who is making this claim, though? Francisco Jeremino, Vice President of International Data Corp, told CNBC on Tuesday that is completely impossible. I know. That's exactly what I was getting at. I cannot imagine what it is. Geronimo suggests the phone could likely be produced by a Chinese original device manufacturer, or ODM, a type of company that designs and manufactures products based on the specifications of another firm, which is likely true. But you know what's also likely true? That they could take the Unplugged phone route, and it's not made in China, it's made in Indonesia, and the company headquarters is located in Israel. So that could be a whole other thing. And not having to deal with Chinese tariffs, okay? Because the tariffs on China were the big deal for why everything got so much more expensive. Or did they reach a deal that we don't know about when that meeting in London a couple of weeks ago? See, there's so many moving pieces here, and the only ones that can answer this are the team at Trump Mobile. Okay, so let me go to this one, because this is what I said on my show too. Prism's Librium phone, high in price and low in features, shows how tough it is to make smart devices in America. This is the truth, because I highlighted every single time I talked about any of the Google device, and I even said it on the Trump Mobile. What is the Trump Mobile thing? So let's go to this part. A $2,000 Prism's Librium phone is more expensive than an iPhone 16 Pro. It has half the iPhone's memory with roughly twice the thickness. You also can't download many apps on it because it's powered by Linux. I think it's Ubuntu. Let's see. Oh no, I gotta. Okay, let me see if I could. Can I put this up here? Let me check. I see the comments coming through on YouTube. I just don't think I'm gonna be able to, because I'm using a bridge. I don't know if I'll be able to highlight the comment for everybody to see, but 007 says Freedom Phone is running Clear OS and is still for sale as Clear Phone on Clear's website. Yes, it is, and that's why I was mentioning that. In fact, when you type in Freedom Phone, it still launches this. So let me open this up. I didn't talk about it last time. It's still priced at $499, which makes no sense, by the way, because the same phone from years ago, 3 years ago, and they still show the old logos of products here, like services, because it's the Google devices, and it's still showing this video from Candace Owens, and this is not the phone that was being shipped. So that's why I have my issues. And when you hit buy now, I don't know if it's gonna open another tab, but if I hit buy now, yeah, it's gonna open over to the Clear phone. See, Clear phone themselves have been around for a while. Okay, so they have a reputation, and look at the phone. There's no Freedom Phone branding on it per se, but look at the back. That doesn't look like the one that's being advertised so much here, unless it's a really hyper intensive close-up. Let me see. Okay, Freedom presents you. Oh my goodness, there's just a bunch of gotchas. Hold on, you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing right now. That's on purpose because I want to get to the back of this phone. They're just showing the front. That's an intense close up of the camera. I want to see the back. They're just showing the front. Dual SIM. Who knows? It could be that. I don't know. Then that would be slightly different than the one that they eventually did mention. But it's running Clear OS, not the original OS that was made to be coming out with this. But the fact is that Freedom Phone itself as a brand name still exists. And well, at least the company that's doing it and servicing it, this part's true. So I need to find out, and the only one that can answer this would be Eric Finman himself. I would want to know. And because I'm connected with Parler now and with Eric's involvement with Parler, that's why I'm like, I need to address this. I want to, if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong and say, great, that this is something that it wasn't. But the thing is, the years since have only proven me right. But what I didn't know, as I've been told by internal sources, are that there was a sabotage to the phone through financial services and all these different things that were trying to torpedo the project before it got off the ground. If that is the case, I do want to know. And I will update to that effect. But like I said, I can only do that with the man himself. Okay. And that invitation is still open. So, but I'll officially reach out through the connections that I have and I'll report back when I get a chance. All right. Let me start closing some tabs here because I have a ton of tabs open. We're going to be talking about the Brax3 device, right? So what would the AOSP thing mean for the Brax device? This is what I was showing you last time, but let me try to pull up something. It's going to be over on Rumble. Let me just make sure I pull it up right. This is for Rob Braxman Tech. Okay. All right, here we go. This is the one. All right, so I'll read to you this. This is Rob's stream over on Rumble, okay, and his locals community. So if you guys are curious as to what all this would mean, then this is the place to kind of find out about it. So the title of the video is Graphene OS going to die soon? AOSP issues and who it affects. And this isn't everything here that they put on the message, but I'll read this. There are new things happening with the Android open source project, and custom ROMs like Graphene OS and Calyx OS may be cut off from here on. No more updates. Let's explain this in detail. Does this affect the Brax3 project, Lunar OS, and IODE OS? Let's find out. So I guess I can't speculate any more than he is too, but this is the place where you can go check it out. If you want to check out his locals, that's what this red button here is. I know this looks strange for a lot of you that are not on Rumble, but this is the layout, the interface. I recommend you guys go check it out. To thumb your nose at big tech, okay? This is a place to check out. But I also understand because I have a nationwide, a global audiences. They were reminding me. That's why I'm streaming to Gangjin World, because they do have a plugin to other places where Rumble isn't banned. Because Rumble, for example, is banned. I think they're banned in France. They're banned in Russia. They're also banned in Brazil, just to name a few countries. And I have followers on my Instagram that I was posting Rumble links all the time. And then they tell me, oh, but it's banned in my country. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's true. So I'm on across as many video platforms as possible. And now I'm moving certain episodes that I do for off the record that are on locals, for example. I am uploading them now to Gangjin World, and members there can see it first. I give it about 2 weeks before I make it public for everybody else to see. But if you're a little patient, then you'll be able to see it. But I am doing that there, and I would think it would be a little bit unfair if I just made it free at the onset, considering that you have to be a member to see it on YouTube, you have to be a member to view and hear it on Spotify. So I'm trying to be fair for that. So just letting you know that there are certain episodes that don't make the rounds anywhere else. But this is a live stream that begins at 8 p.m. Pacific. That means 11 p.m. Eastern if you want to check this out. Because he's and we both live in California. And yeah, we follow each other's stuff and on X. So I'm excited to see this product, and I know they're curious about my reaction because they know I'm going to be covering this for my show. So once that happens, I got the unboxing thing. I'm going to be doing that and others. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the update I got to give you on Brax3. So let me move on to the last one, which is the unplugged phone, because then I will have to get going. What am I, 50, almost 52 minutes? Okay, cool. And then I'll close out by reading some comments from YouTube, not just on the live stream, but because of, let's see, the community for some things that I have not responded to just yet. So I'll close out with some Q&A, and if you guys want to chime in on any of these topics, you can also contribute, just like 007 did. I appreciate you for chiming in there. And let me close this one off. And oh, in fact, no, this one's just me. So let me resume to this. I didn't have the second camera set up, and I don't think it's worthwhile to set it up, honestly. But I will read to you what changes are on the latest beta firmware updates to the unplugged device. And oh, thank you for those of you watching and listening on X while I'm looking for my clip. I just put up I'm gonna have to repost that every single time about what's their names, all this conservative infighting or right-wing infighting, not all conservatives. So let me see. Okay, so I have it pulled up now. Okay, and let me see, is there another firmware update to this thing? So if you have an unplugged phone and you're curious about trying out the beta firmware update, the way you would do it is if you hit the for example, if you go to the firmware update, you'll get this, and if you hit check for update right now, say no updates found, but you'll see that the my build is different from yours. This is officially built NR D011.13 N. This is the official build part. UP01 underscore 2-042. So this is the latest beta. How do you get it? You would tap here multiple times on the unplugged line, then you'll get the warning. These settings are intended for advanced users only. Installing beta firmware versions may result in unexpected behavior. Use it at your own risk. I understand the risks. So you'll see release, beta, and local install. Local install, I mean, that's where you, after you unlock the bootloader, I'm assuming that's how you would do a local install of, oh no, you would have to, that would probably be like other test beta if you downloaded it. But I'll check for some beta updates. I have the latest. And just to read to you what that is, I guess I might as well share that post. It's let me share this. And if you're chiming in on Ganjing World, oh my goodness, there we go. On Ganjing World in the comments, I'm sorry I cannot see it at the moment, but I'll see if I could catch up on anything after the fact, because I get a lot of engagement there. It's just that there's no integration to any of the services here, and I don't have that window open. So thank you for all the love over at Ganjing World. Ton of interaction, a lot of impressions, and I don't mean just, you know, like X, where anything that even just scrolling past something counts as a view. I'm talking about people liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. That means a lot to me, and because it opens the world to a whole other global audience, especially in the Far East, where I do have family and friends. I do intend to probably do some more content that I couldn't do before, because I don't have a Mandarin speaking audience in the United States. But for those that do, you might see some exclusive content coming to Ganjing World. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. But this, okay, so I have to go rewind to the beginning. So this one, Unplugged firmware version 2.042.00. It was updated on June 16, 2025. I was updating this. I was going to talk about it, but then two things happened. Over the weekend, I had injured myself when I was working out. Well, and when I say injured, I didn't get injured like muscles or anything, but I have a weighted vest that I use. It's about 20 pounds. And you know, I'm just so used to just throwing it on and taking it off. But I did feel a sharp cut that I just didn't think about it. And then the adrenaline got going. So I didn't notice it until much later when I was trying to clean my lips. I'm like, ow, something really hurts there. And like, I wasn't eating ketchup. So I was wondering what all that red stuff was. And then I asked him, hey, am I bleeding? Because I wasn't anywhere near a mirror. Yeah, I had cut myself right underneath the lip here. And I have my beard and all that, so that was a way to be able to hide the cut. So you could see a little bit in the Trump Mobile video. So I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I'll just do the voiceover for the video of another unboxing that I ended up delaying until next week. Okay, so that video is going to drop next week. It's a computer this time that I've unboxed a couple of weeks ago that I am using now, that I love, and I'm going to be testing it and letting you know about it because it's a better experience. But that's why I didn't intend on doing a video or a live stream, but I healed enough that I can do this, and I was able to shave last night finally because I just couldn't. I'm like, no, I'm just going to really open that up. But anyway, here I was updating this. I was distracted by Trump Mobile, so that was the other thing for why I didn't cover this at the same time, and I just waited till the next day so I could give some Trump Mobile breathing room to talk about that. So, app compatibility layer, better support for existing apps and push notifications. That's interesting because I am curious to see what all that actually means. And I'll make this bigger for you guys right now. Support for new apps that were not previously supported will be available in the Unplugged phone store soon. I don't know what that means because I am curious about that. We talk about compatibility. Are they going to be doing a sandboxing of Google like app stuff, kind of like Graphene OS did? That's my curiosity here, because that would be one way to make it work, because then that would mean push notifications for certain things that require that, because there was a reason why some push notifications didn't work if they required the Google framework, services framework to work. Okay, so they got firewall statistics that are included, updated privacy center, they added widgets, usage stats, improved battery life, always a plus. That, you see, I love that. They improved the battery life. That means they're making the software more efficient and improved overall privacy. I'm curious about what that means. I wonder if that is because now the security patch is May 2025. But with the whole improving battery life, hopefully that means we're not affecting the performance, because when Apple, they prioritize battery optimization every time they software update something. So you can have a Ferrari under the hood, but they're going to throttle that thing because they want to optimize the battery, and you don't get to say so. That's why people jailbreak their phones, their iPhones, so they can, get the power out of it, but it'll sap the battery. So you don't really own your iPhone, is basically what I'm saying. So this is interesting. And there was an update to their website that I found very curious. And it does explain a few things that I'm not privy to talk about that yet. But they did remove certain pages from here, like the leadership over at Unplugged and who's there. So I am curious because I've been in touch with Iran, especially because of what's happening right now. I didn't talk to him about Unplugged. I'm just checking up on him. I was like, hey, man, because I have friends in Iran. I have friends in, well, acquaintances in Israel. And as you just hate to see what's happening. War is all hell. And it doesn't matter if you support one side or another. The point is that usually it's the innocent that pay the prices. So I know, just all I can do is just keep them in prayer and check up on those that I know and I care about. And all I did was just follow up with them, because we keep in touch. We talk regularly, and I just followed up and just checked, and they're okay. And eventually I wanted to talk about this because I was going to do a video just for Unplugged, to send to them as feedback, because I don't have time to type it all out, and I want to show them a few things. So, like, what the best way to do is through video. Like, I'm trying to make it short. I'm still gonna do it. It's just like I don't think now is the time. So I'm gonna delay that a little bit. Part of it is feedback, and other stuff is questions about what comes now, because I'm trying to relay your questions to them. And I haven't been able to do so, and now is the time, especially as we come up to the 1 year. Oh, we're in the 1 year anniversary of the Unplugged phone, and as of right now, they still say that it's out of stock, and they're estimated to deliver new orders by July 2025. Okay, and I guess now I'll close this out by answering questions from the community. So let me just return to just myself, because I have to eat. Yeah, but thank you for everyone across everything that's been tuning in. There's been quite a few of you, so I appreciate you all. Okay. These are comments and questions, mostly from the community over on YouTube, and because of my recent post on X, I did have someone chime in there. So let me pull up their comment too. So I'll read that one first. Oh, I'm getting more play on this. Cool. So where's the Unplugged video? All right, there it is. Whoa, did it delete? What's going on here? Oh, no, it was on a different post. Okay. All right, let me start with Illuminated. That's Jim D326 over on X. They write, let me share this with you guys because you guys didn't see this. Actually, none of you saw it unless you were following me on the socials. So actually, I have to share that one. This is considered an update. So let me get to that. Okay. So I did do a test because I couldn't do it at the time when I was doing the live recording session, and I couldn't do it while I was filming and trying to cut up my reaction video to post everywhere. So I promised that I said I would test out if the unplugged phone will work on Trump Mobile, because Trump Mobile says, let me pull it up again, their homepage. I'll just read it to you guys. I don't have to show it to you guys. Trump Mobile, same coverage as the 3 nationwide phone service carriers, which meant to me that they must be piggybanking, or they made a deal to use the networks of Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. And if that were the case, that means the unplugged phone might not work with it. So I did put in the IMEI, both of them, because it's dual SIM slots, and I put it in, and sure enough, it says right here, sorry, even though your phone is compatible with our network, but it's locked by another carrier, please use another phone. Locked by another carrier. That is an odd phrasing there. That's just the way to say that it won't work with them, is basically what it's saying. So Illuminated chimed in, and this is their comments. That's Jim D326 on X. I'm also curious with the current situation in Israel. Unplugged's home base. What if infrastructure is compromised? Does that affect Unplug and its ability to function as intended? I highly recommend Cape Cellular. They've surpassed companies like Unplugged. To which I responded, I'll check them out too. So Cape Cellular is this. The launch of Trump Mobile shows that people are ready to ditch big telco for carriers that align with their identity. But most rebranded carriers still run on the same old telecom rails, same surveillance, same data brokers. Cape runs on its own core. Yes, and Rob Braxman has spoken to that effect as well. So I guess I'll reach out to this team. Oh my goodness, talking about civil war. Shut up, man. Social media is not real life, but there's some realness to it too. You just gotta discern what's real and what's not. So anyway, we asked. So this was who was asking? This was the Technology Daily Show, hosted by John Coogan and Jordy Hayes. I think I said that right. So they asked. They asked John Doyle Cape, founder of Cape Cellular, about the state of 5G in the U.S. And this is what he had to say. I'm not going to play the video, just the comments. China made the strategic decision 20 years ago to capture global cellular networks by subsidizing Huawei. U.S. Telecom started outsourcing and offshoring all of the technology aspects of running the business. Yep. Nokia and Ericsson, based in Europe, handle the core software. Very little of that capacity exists within the US. Correct. Technically, Huawei is banned in the United States because of security concerns. But guess what Verizon's infrastructure was getting the licensing from? Yes, Huawei. So when under the Obama administration, back then Verizon had the share everything plan. That's why there was a great meme of Obama being pictured at the Oval Office desk on the phone with Verizon, says, I need you to share everything with me. Because yes, Verizon shared everything with the Obama administration in a form of surveillance state for no reason. No reason other than to just spy on Americans. Yeah, so thank you for that recommendation, Illuminated. I will be reaching out to Cape Cellular because I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have. Okay, and especially as I'm getting ready to talk about the Brax3 device with the device in my hands. Okay, community questions. I think I read. Oh yeah, I read most of these things. Yes. People just hating on my video for the rebuttal to Mr. Who's the Boss. Yeah, I read all that. These are unrelated to tech. One of them is a laughing emoji about my video on what is the Trump Mobile and Trump one. Yeah, I try to put in the joke in there somewhere, so I'm assuming that's what the Super 88264 was laughing at. And I wonder, is that a callback to Black Hawk Down? Curious. So And let's see, this one is to the cancer crisis amongst veterans. Someone responded enthusiastically with "Yep." That's Jill Seta 350. It's a exchange that I have with a retired Marine named Tank. He asked me to withhold his name, so I didn't say his name. But with his battle with cancer because of the burn pits from when he served back in the early 90s, and it's just his story is just, I'm following on social. We stayed in touch. It's crazy, all that cancer, and in his case he has a positive experience with the VA. But I recommend you guys check that interview out. It's very, very eye-opening, about what our veterans go through. That's why I say, yeah, it's easy to say support our troops when they're out fighting about, but you don't support when they're fighting the war at home. Some of them never really come home. And for anybody that's seen The Hurt Locker, the that scene where Jeremy Renner's character is no longer in the battlefield and he just looks lost in the freezer aisle over at the supermarket, and he's just disconnected from his family, but he is, when he's back in uniform doing what he does, he's like alive. That's what I'm talking about. The war at home, that people don't really highlight, and the families that suffer because of it. And I have friends that have gone through that and PTS and all. So that's why I care so much about veteran affairs, and I try to be that bridge with the veteran community and the civil citizens, because there is a disconnect. We don't get it, and we think it's just hoorah rah rah when they're out there fighting. It's not the case when they come back from war. And this one is um, from the last commander of the Once in Future Battle for Afghanistan episode interview with Lieutenant General Sami Sadat, the last Special Forces commander of the in Afghanistan, not an American, in Afghani. Someone wrote, "How you call yourself Afghani while working with the occupiers who killed thousands of innocent Afghanis?" That was Sal Maman Sour 4418. And I can tell you that because of that interview, the Taliban have not been happy with me. So like, well, so I guess I got more viewers for the show. No PR is bad PR, right? Yeah, okay. And that's pretty much it. I caught up with the other ones. I don't think I with the content moderation was holding back some of them. Oh wait, show hidden comments. No, I'm not sharing this just yet. Am I? No, I'm not sharing this yet. Uh, this one. Yeah, yeah, I see why this one was held back. It's not safe for YouTube. So I won't read that one. That's not me though. I don't do the content moderation. That's all done by YouTube. So yeah. But anyway, you guys haven't checked out my initial reaction video to Trump Mobile, I recommend that you do. It's up on Rumble, YouTube, Play TV, Ganjin World. I'm across so many different places, and I keep to that. So let me see. Let me show you this one more time. Stations. This is where I'm on, and I did that so I will not be canceled. So you can tune in, check out my Rumble live stream where veterans react. That's Benghazi Hero Boone, a buddy of mine, veteran. We do movie talk and stuff. We react to a bunch of different films and TV scenes, and it's just great to hear them both give feedback on that stuff. How real was it? How was it not? And of course, I played some. I think I played one clip from 13 Hours in it because I had to. I mean, Boone he lived the real thing. So yeah. But anyway, I'm across all these different video platforms and more. They're not all listed here. Off the cuff live streams. I haven't done one in a while for Amazon Live, but I do intend to soon, and all of these different podcast directories and distributors, because I make sure that if one goes down, I'm still up on somewhere else, and I'm also in the Fediverse. And yeah, it's just yeah, and that goes the same for social media. So if you're interested in what social media accounts that I'm on, I'll tell you which I'm verified on. Instagram is the most interactive one that I have, so I recommend you check that one out. Personal stuff there too, along with Vero. X, well, if you're there for the discourse, I'm not always involved in the discourse, but there it is. So I'm verified on Instagram, Parler, Telegram, Gab, Threads, Vero, X, Blue Sky, believe it or not. I think I'm verified on Flipboard. Substack has a different service, so it's not really a verified thing. True Social, I'm verified. Getter, no, there's a dying platform. Line Official, kind of still there. Pickaxe, I'm verified. Tumblr, I don't think so. Noster, yes I am. Mastodon, no. Hedgehog, no. Discord doesn't do that. Locals, yes I am. MeWe, no I'm not. Minds, yes I am. Vocal, which used to be Frank Social, the Mike Lindell platform, I am verified. So I'm verified across many different services here, and I'm trying to get an additional verification on Blue Sky.
So I applied for it. I don't know if I'll get it, but it's an additional verification on top of the verification. Excuse me. And that's that. Anyway, I gotta eat, so I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so very much for watching this live stream of the Andre Segovia Show. To anyone and everyone across every single platform that I've been streaming to, that would be LinkedIn, Rumble, X, YouTube, Locals, Twitch, Gangjin World, D Live. I appreciate you all. Follow my stuff over at Well, all my stuff is at deandresegovia.com. What happened? Ooh, I didn't even click anything. The server's trying to kick me out. If you guys can still hear me, I gotta go. So thank you so much for watching.